you want to come say hi? Do you want to come say hi? Oh. Okay, you're going to be a crazy dog? Do I need to... Okay, you're going to be a crazy dog today. I see. Is it because I petted another dog? I petted another dog. Hello. Hi. Hello. Close to halfway through. Oh, what part did you just get to then? If you're halfway through, because I've been playing Death Stranding 1, 2. Oh no, Salem Kunwich, not feverish, summer COVID, my door just opened because my house air pressure changes with the season. I'm scared the fuck. That's just garbage. So I do have some food that I need to eat because I didn't want to push the stream any longer, because as you may have noticed, I'm like almost 2 to 3 hours later than I usually stream, which is very fun for all of you. But we're going to have a little bit later of a stream because I can't really fit it in any other time this week until Friday. And there is so many things happening as per usual, like all the time. Things are happening all the time, but particularly in the last couple days, holy fucking shit, y'all. Right after connecting the distribution center south of Lake Knott. Yeah, that's not halfway. That's not halfway. If where I'm thinking it is halfway, or is where you are. So that region is, my mic is quiet. Okay, I think y'all need to turn up your audio or something, because my mic shouldn't be quiet at all. All right, how about now? No, if that's where I'm thinking it is, you should be... so that middle section, like when you get to the Midwest in Death Stranding, and this is the thing I've learned playing the first game, is that middle section is so much more dense than the rest of the game. My headphones are maxed. All right, I mean, I turned it up a little bit. And like it is so they just keep giving you outposts. They just keep giving you PlayStation home screen says I'm 32%. That sounds closer to it, honestly. That sounds a lot closer. Cuz I just got done with, and this won't mean anything to you yet, but I just got done with like the mountain range, and I'm ready to move on to the next area. And man, like the amount of times that they go, okay, but one more thing. We're going to get you over to the other coast, but one more thing. But one more thing. But one more thing. Like, god damn, y'all. It has gotten me going into a... I started writing a new... and who knows when / if this will ever see the light of day, but I have a script that for a video essay I just started on Hideo Kojima's mommy issues. Because it's I find Kojima artistically fascinating and inspiring. Like I've loved Kojima for years and years. But I find Kojima fascinating because of all the themes he returns to, because he usually puts a couple, like centers his art around a specific theme that it's getting through to, or that kind of ties and runs through a specific work. But of all the ones that he returns to, like matriarchy and motherhood is maybe the most common, which I find fascinating for someone whose primary artistic output is like action games and like military stealth action games. Yeah, I find it fascinating personally. So I'm assuming people who like my videos would as well. Yeah, no, Naomi Francis, that sounds exactly like how I've been playing it. I played it back first on launch in maybe a couple hours and it just hadn't clicked. Yeah, so I'm playing the director's cut, which I think improves some stuff. And when I played it, I also played, like, I didn't get past that, like, second major area. Like, I didn't even get to, like, the Midwest or anything. And that is one of those games that, like, if you don't internalize the mechanics and the systems of it, you're not going to be able to, like, drop it and come back to it, you know? Hey, Transitory. Hi, Starro Jones. How are we all doing today, chat? What game just got here? Death Stranding, the first one. Emperor Xenu, chat, are we cooked? I tell you what's cooked is this delicious homemade, well, it was made at a local place, pulled pork sandwich I got for dinner that I'm gonna mac into. I'm gonna put on a video and go silent on this, because I need food and I've been carb loading. Juno dear, I was just about to go to bed, but now I'm here. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Burger. Juno, I was about to make a joke about that being a noise other people make. But then I didn't. I didn't say that publicly and embarrass myself. Or embarrass you, depending on how you take it. Ayo? Hi, Ambergris. Nathan, you. Burger King. We just start? Yeah, we just started. I started really late today because we got a lot. Yeah, the other, so I have both of my chats, Twitch and YouTube, combined. Yeah, well, I mean, you're in New Mexico. We're supposed to be a sanctuary city. New Mexico. NM? I assume NM for New Mexico. Burger King. Hi, YouTube. I'm Juno. Hi, Juno. This is YouTube. Hello, baby. I love you. You cannot come you cannot come bother me. I am trying to stream. She's throwing the biggest hissy fit right now. She's just like... Let Lady stream. Lady will never stream. Lady will never be streaming. Woof. Damn, Jack Saint taking the hot one. All right, let's go. Do I have a Discord server? Gino, dear, give her the pork. I'll give you the pork. She says to share snack. No, I just fed her. She's fine. Goodness gracious, Les. Abby, no, we're not talking about Lactobus too. You're good, Awesome Stella. Don't worry about it. I'm not expecting too much stuff. And Johnny Viral is here. What was I saying? Lol, Jordan Peterson. Some more news. Great. I cannot fucking believe that we are... Like, look. Every day strains credulity. But having to remind myself that it is literally legally being called the Big Beautiful Bill. So I want to, really quick, I want to go and see, let's actually see if we can do, see if we can find some recent Trump interviews. Because, look, Dave Pacman. Like butter. It's been interesting watching state media like Fox News, essentially state media at this point, try to navigate Trump's... Okay, look. Trump has always been embarrassing to listen to. Like he's never been a particularly good or gifted public speaker, certainly. But in the last, probably just the last 6 months, yeah, no, guess I'm salad. I will be talking about that too. In the last 6 months or so, there has been a visible decline, like a ridiculously obvious decline in his mental faculties. And I know they're, Juno, you know you're above average. You're just goading me into it at this point. All right, last hour today. Vietnam trade deal, rad. Can I just get an Air Force One? Like, where the fuck are all those interviews? Steve Dees, fuck you. Okay, here we go. 7. I don't want to do a 7-hour fucking. Okay, whatever. Here we go.
Right? But you know, I don't like guys like they just keep saying no. I vote no. I vote no. There's nothing. Let him do something. Let him get what he wants. To vote yes, but.
So when I talk about that, and I want to make clear what I'm talking about, is I think there is a lot of kind of ageism that gets thrown around with Trump, where he will say something inarticulately, he will, you know, kind of stumble around his words, and that's not really what I'm talking about here, because I think that's just him not talk good is really what I think there. Excuse me. What I mean more is the way, and this is a thing that you notice when people get older and they start to mentally deteriorate, is the speech goes from being coherent to being bizarre. It's not just like that it's not articulated well, it is that it is additionally just fucking strange. And that's the thing I continue seeing more and more with Trump. And it is becoming so surreal to witness.
If you look at his voting record, so is against.
Who do you like?
Well, he's going to have an opponent. He's going to have a big opponent, a good opponent, who's going to win. A poll just came out, and it showed anybody I endorse against Massey loses by 25 points. So he's going to be history, I think.
I'm not sure how much controversy do you think you'll have to do to get past the House now? What's your game plan for that?
I felt the Senate was going to be tougher than the House. We got there. We got pretty much what we wanted. It was an amazing package. It's the biggest bill ever passed if we get this done. You know, most of the people wanted 7 or 8 different bills. And I thought that was tougher because it'd be 100%, but then there'd be nothing. This bill has something for everybody by doing it this way. So we're happy about it. We're happy with the result. Well, they're going to ask for certain changes, probably. I don't know. I mean, I guess what would happen if that happens, you then have to run it past the Senate, so it never ends. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Do you think it's still possible to get this done?
I guess that's been done, right? On occasion, that will happen where they'll make a change and they'll get it passed, so it'll go pretty quickly. But I think
it's so, again, like, I know nobody should be surprised at this point, but hearing him be like, hearing the sitting president being like, well, I don't know, like he's talking to somebody. This is the same tone my grandpa takes at like a car show, right? Where it's just this super casual conversation, like it completely not grasping the severity, the gravity of millions of people. We're going to get to it. Millions of people being cut off of Medicare and Medicaid. Just a bill that is going to be so incredibly detrimental. And he's just sitting over here being like, well, I don't know. I guess they have, like, in the past, right? And he's asking the media gallery. He's asking the media gallery, like, do you guys know? I'm pretty sure they've done that in the past. Like, they've definitely, yeah, that'll be fine. Man.
The Senate was a very big move, and they worked very hard. I didn't get along with Tillis, and he resigned. That's good. That's a good thing.
That seat, sir.
Somebody that would really be great is Laura. She grew up there, but they live in Florida. They have a very good life, and they're great people. She did fantastically running the RNC. She's even got a show it's like the #1 show, and Mark Levin is likewise. I mean, they have the #1, #2 show over the weekend. So she's done well. She's a great person, Laura Trump. I mean, that would always be my first choice, but she doesn't live there now. But she's there all the time. Her parents, and she really knows North Carolina well. And I won it 3 times. I don't know who the candidates are going to be. I think you're going to have one of the congressmen step up, and should do very well.
Does she talk to you about it?
No. It's so soon. I had it out with this guy 2 nights ago, and he resigned, which I was happy about. He did us all a favor.
Sir, you spent a lot of time with Secretary Yellen today, obviously. Did you discuss with her at all this report about an $80,000 money payment?
Yeah, people noting that, like, he looks sleep deprived, he looks tired. Like, granted, that's the life of a president. But also, he's been doing this shit for like a decade now. He looks like shit, man. Did they just replay? They had to have just replayed it. It wasn't a 7-hour press conference.
But they know I make good decisions. That's why we have that. Trump was right about everything, right? But, I don't like guys they just keep saying, no, I vote no, I vote no. There's nothing. Let him do something. Let him get what he wants to vote yes. But if you look at his voting record, so is against.
Again, incredibly telling. Just like, no, I don't want anybody to vote no for anything. Just give me all. God.
Well, he's going to have an opponent. He's going to have a big opponent, a good opponent, who's going to win. A poll just came out, and it showed anybody I endorse against Massey loses by 25 points. So he's going to be history, I think.
I'm not sure how much progress do you think you'll have to do to get past the House now? What's your game plan for that?
I felt the Senate was going to be tougher than the House. We got there. We got pretty much what we wanted. It was it's an amazing fact. It's the biggest bill ever passed if we get this done. You know, most of the people wanted 7 or 8 different bills. And I thought that was tougher because there'd be, 100%, but then there'd be nothing. This bill has something for everybody by doing it this way. So we're happy about it. We're happy with the result. Well, they're going to ask for certain changes, probably. I don't know. I mean, I guess what would happen if that happens, you then have to run it past the Senate, so it never ends. I don't.
Yeah, so like they already, so it was like a 20-minute thing, and they already looped it. All right. My abuela. Sorry, Ollie, you were talking about your abuela. Ollie Espinoza, my abuela has dementia. It's a heartbreaking disease to watch her lose more and more of herself, and watching him is so familiar. That, like, people have been saying that a lot. I mean, people have been saying that for a while, but it is completely true. Like, it feels... I can't help... Other side of the coin. Hey. What? No. No. Snatching stuff off my desk, dog. Yeah, it has gotten super worse. And look, the old body can only take so much. I think what we are gonna see excuse me. Now I'm all phlegmy. I think what we're gonna see is more... What was I saying? What we're gonna see is the same shit we saw with Biden, where they are going to be jacking him up on so many, like, painkillers and amphetamines and medical this, that, and the other to make him just, like, stand him up straight after a while. And, like, remember, Biden had cancer that they knew about. And they were still going to run him. Like, granted, the DNC is not the Republicans. But when they have this figurehead... Oh, no, I think he is absolutely... I don't think... Like, strictly speaking, granted, I am not a medical professional in any way. But just looking at him... His lack of actual exercise, his lack of any personal fitness, his lack of any kind of health regimen. Like, he doesn't eat well. He never has. He doesn't fucking... They're going to implant an RFK worm to puppeteer him. Oh my God. That's the next... somebody let Ammon Animations know that's the big plan. Robert Kennedy Jr. controlling them all with earworms. It's... Ollie Espinoza, it's very weird to watch them deteriorate at the same speed simultaneously, but at least he gets the good cocaine. My abuela's permanent resident without any health insurance at all. Ugh. That fucking sucks. I'm sorry. Bastion, dude only eats Happy Meal. Yeah, like, it there is no way that they are not, with the strenuous schedule, as bad as he is at the job. Like, that is immaterial from the point I'm making. The schedule that a president keeps... of constantly flying, traveling, multiple time zones, having to, like, meet with people and do meetings and shit all day, having to talk on camera and be cogent all day. He's terrible at all these things. That doesn't change the fact that he is still doing them, and that inarguably takes a toll. Like, that kind of traveling and shit takes a toll on anyone, with the additional stress of being the president, and then probably most importantly, the fact that he's old. Like, he is already, I'm fucking zonked up. I guarantee it. He's Star O'Junes, if he's gonna make it through the rest of his term. If he's gonna make it through the rest of his term, no, I'm actually not gonna say anything. Inshallah, inshallah. All right, what else did I want to look at? I got my food eaten, so I'm good. I just wanted to open with that. Yeah, we gotta... What was the other thing I wanted to talk about here? Oh yeah, I already got that. Okay. Hello? Okay, cool. All right, weird. Maybe it's a PBS thing? Okay. I guess not. I guess BBC is where we're going. Weird. Why am I always sniffing on stream? Because I have allergies. What, do you think I want to be sniffing? I hate sniffing. I have horrible, horrible allergies. Not horrible. They've been really fucking terrible this year, though. And I try not to stream. It's something I'm very self-conscious about, but thank you for bringing it up. Or I try not to sniff. Flonase, I have been going through so many. Have I thought about outgrowing said allergies? You know what? It probably is time. It probably is time. All right, let me go grab some nose spray for y'all if it's bothering you too so much. It might be because of the makeup. Well, I'm not wearing much makeup today, but Token, you're actually probably not wrong. So the thing that really makes me sniffly that I've noticed is my eyeliner pencil that I use. And I like because it smudges just perfectly. And anytime I wear my eyeliner pencil, I have to like be ready to monitor my sniffing. All right, so the sniffs are integral to the stream. You know what else is integral to the streams? Puppy! Puppy! Hey, baby. Hey, baby. She said, no, no more. No more. I need to get you a stream camera, puppy. Uppy. Do you want Uppy? Uppy? Come here. Look what I got. She said, you have nothing. You've tricked me. Hello. Hello. Goblin, thank you for 20 bucks. Trans and have allergies. May I recommend antihistamines? Thank you. Big queer squishy love from Sydney. Thank you very much, y'all. Is this a pocket pity? No, she's a pity. She's a big dog. She a big dog. Pocket pity. She is really small for a pit bull. She's a mix for sure. Yeah, let's. Oh boy. From the BBC, President Trump's budget mega bill is one step closer to becoming law after it narrowly passed the Senate. The bill, known as I feel so bad about anybody who has to fucking write this out. One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the official legal name of it, will move to the House of Reps for final approval before it can be signed into law. The real thing about the Big Beautiful Bill, we got to come up with a better name for it. The thing is that it is the most, we all knew that all of Trump's campaign promises, all this faux populist messaging, like everybody knew it's bullshit. I don't think anybody quite expected for almost everything he campaigned on to be spat back in voters' faces so soon. Because this is the official legal name. You go to all right. Yeah. From the Congress.gov website, HR 1 Big Beautiful Bill Act is what they are legally calling it. So yeah, the funny part about this is that they just spent 3-4 months. The Doge thing went away real quick. And in fact, because Elon and Trump are both petty, egotistical betas, they're back to fighting again because, of course, what the fuck else is Elon gonna do? Actually learn how to play video games? Like, now that he's not going around and raiding everybody's social security? Hunter Randy, isn't the bill just banning men from women's sports? Dude, I don't even think that's in here. Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill would add $3.3 trillion to federal deficits in the next 10 years and leave millions without health coverage, a forecast that the White House disputes. Extension of 2017 Trump tax cuts. Unsurprising. Tax cuts for the millionaires. Lower taxes for corporations for individuals across most income brackets. Tout the law that one would stimulate economic growth, but experts have argued it has benefited wealthy Americans the most. Oh? Key provisions of the law that are set to expire, but the sprawling bill currently aims to make those tax cuts permanent, increases standard deductions by $1,000 for individuals and $2,000 for married couples until 2028. Eliminate taxes on Social Security income, monthly payments to Americans of retirement age, and people with disabilities. House bill fell short of delivering on that promise, but it did temporarily increase the standard deduction. Senate Republicans approved an extension to Social Security tax breaks and an increase that would grant a $6,000 deduction for older Americans who earn no more than $75,000 a year. Yay. Medicaid requirements. Here's the real, like, again, it's just, it's so clear where the priorities lie and what a lie it ever was that even for a fucking second Trump was any kind of populist. Oh, sorry, I sniffled. To help finance tax cuts everywhere, Republicans have added additional restrictions and requirements for Medicaid, the healthcare program relied upon by millions of disabled and low-income Americans. Zig, thank you for $1.99. What Celsius flavor are you drinking? I am currently on my tropical vibe. I've been drinking a lot of Playa vibe. This is the sparkling starfruit pineapple. DJ Gas, thank you for subscribing. Another proposed change to the program is requiring Medicaid re-enrollment. Wait, no, sorry. Go back up. One of the biggest components of federal spending has been a major source of political strife. Now, you might think to yourself, well, what if the people who benefited most from the tax cuts, who are paying less taxes now, what if we just had, like, the billionaires and trillionaires that all the money is trickling up to? What if we had them actually pay a fair amount? Like, wouldn't that help pay for some of these medical costs? One of the changes are new work requirements for adults without disabilities. Now, the fun thing about this is that, ever out of touch with the average American, Trump's cabinet has really taken to the messaging that, like, like you'll see a lot of Republicans out here talking like, that 30-year-old man who's living in his basement is going to have to put down the Xbox and pick up the job application. The problem isn't that people just aren't working. Work at least 80 hours per month from December 2026, which isn't that much, actually. Another proposed change to the program is requiring Medicaid re-enrollment. The problem isn't that they're not working. The problem is that, A, the job market is shit. B, everything is too fucking expensive, including healthcare. Another proposed change to the program is requiring... Actually, that is a lot. Whatever. Anyway, sorry. That is, you would have to be working full-time to qualify, which is especially... Here's the thing. Especially with the way people live on gig economy work now... Senate proposal puts even more restriction on Medicaid, which is likely to cause more headaches. Upper Chamber's version proposes to lower provider taxes, which state used to help fund their share of Medicaid costs, from 6 to 3.5% by 2032. States used to help fund their share. Complaints from some Republicans that draw funding from these taxes, especially for rural hospitals, led the Senate to delay the cuts and add a $50 billion rural hospital fund. Senate bill also proposes tightening eligibility requirements so that able-bodied adults with children aged 15 and over would need to work or volunteer at least 80 hours a month. So much for any stay-at-home parents. Strictest ever proposed by Republicans, raising the odds that large numbers of Americans could lose medical coverage as they will not keep up with the new paperwork. Congressional Budget Office estimates that nearly 12 million Americans could lose their health coverage by the end of the next decade as a result of the proposed changes. Jesus Christ. There's currently a $10,000 cap on how much taxpayers can deduct from the amount they owe in federal taxes. That expires this year. The Senate's approved bill raises it from $10,000 to $40,000. credible. Government would continue to fund. Adds work requirements for able-bodied SNAP enrollees who do not have dependents. What does able-bodied mean? Like legally? Like none of the like Emperor Xenu, like none of this takes place automatically. Like that's how this works. It'll start like here's the way bills work to their advantage is this horrible shit will get passed. Everybody will make a kerfuffle out of it. Everybody will forget, and then it'll kick in, and by the time it kicks in, everybody's moved on to caring about something else. Why didn't they have to pass building the Florida ice facility through Congress? Ben Tramer, I'm glad you asked. Because ICE can just do whatever the fuck it wants now. No tax on overtime or tips and other elements. Parents have a social security number. Requirement only one parent. The upper chamber's bill also proposes raising the debt. 5 trillion more than the 4 trillion approved by the House. The debt ceiling is the limit on the amount of money the U.S. government can borrow to pay its bills. So calling an end to the Biden-era federal clean energy tax credits, extended the runway for businesses that build wind and solar farms to still benefit from the tax credits. However, both House and Senate versions seek to deny the credits to companies whose supply chains may have ties to foreign entities of concern, such as China. So if anything's made in China, fuck you. Oh, man. Companies that begin construction could qualify for a full tax break, blah, blah, blah. Where the fuck is the... Oh, yeah, no, the bill still has to go to the Senate. No, sorry, reverse that. The bill passed the Senate. The bill's going to the House of Representatives now. 5 ways Trump's tax bill will limit healthcare access. Cut federal spending by about $1 trillion over a decade. We can now, mind you, we can expand ICE. We can drop a hot 149 billion with a B, billion dollars to expand ICE. Yeah, there we go. I cannot fucking believe you look up alligator. The third result is alligator Alcatraz merch death. A dedicated FEMA fund will pay for that. That's where they're paying for it from, by the way. So one of the things, if you're asking, like, where's all this coming from? Where are people? If you haven't watched the video I did on, do I have music on right now? I completely forgot I had music. That's my bad. That's my B. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep the tunes going. Why not? If you haven't watched the most recent documentary I did on the protests down in L.A., the National Guard member I talked to, the anonymous National Guard member I talked to, mentioned how a lot of the National Guard troops that were stationed there were they were already on assignment. They were just diverted. That's how a lot of this shit is going to be pushed through, is that they will have the funds allocated to other things that will just be like, hey, just pay for this. Just put this over here. Just do this. Just move this one fucking, Excel spreadsheet line. So expect a lot more of that shit to be coming out as they try to just manipulate reality to their end. Okay. CBO. harm the finances of hospitals, nursing homes, and community health centers, which would have to absorb the cost of treating uninsured people and may force them to reduce services and employees as well as close facilities. The deepest cuts to healthcare spending come from the work requirement, which would cut off coverage from millions of enrollees who do not meet new employment or reporting standards. Now, again, the way this is being propagandized, the way this is being sold to conservatives or from conservatives, is the idea that you... Sorry, I just got a text. The way this is being propagandized is going to be the idea that you are lazy. It is not anybody's fault. It is not the government or the billionaires who aren't paying their way and are lobbying to have all these things passed that benefits them. No, you, doesn't matter how disabled you are, you're lazy because you yourself, you are not contributing to society. Like, that's the way that they're going to frame it. That is, they've already cemented their messaging on us. Have to regularly file paperwork proving that they are working. So if you don't know, so I've only been on unemployment one time, and it was right after COVID. And you have to regularly check in. You have to prove, like, here are all the places that I'm going to, looking to be hired. Here are all the places I had interviews at. So, like, a lot of it becomes a full-time job at some fucking point. Would have to regularly file paperwork proving that they are working, volunteering, or attending school at least 80 hours a month, or that they qualify for an exemption, such as caring for a young child. Bill's requirement would not apply to people in the 10 largely GOP... The bill's requirement would not apply to 10 largely GOP-led states. Funny. That's interesting. State experiments with work requirements have been plagued with administrative issues such as eligible enrollees losing coverage over paperwork problems and budget overruns. Georgia's work requirement, which officially launched in 2023, has cost more than $90 million, with only $26 million of that spent on health benefits. Fuck, man. Rural communities are going to get fucked over. ACA coverage. Yeah. Love this. Marketplace policyholders will be required to update their income, immigration status, and other information each year rather than be allowed to automatically re-enroll. Something more than 10 million people did this year. They would have less time to enroll. The bill shortens the annual open enrollment period by about a month. They are purposefully making it harder for you to get any kind of health care. And when you get that health care, they're going to make it as hard for you as possible to not have to pay out the ass, to not have to go into life-ruining debt. Man. Bill would require states that have expanded Medicaid to change enrollees up to $35 for some services if their incomes are between the federal poverty level and 138% of that amount. Medicaid enrollees don't often pay anything when seeking medical services because studies have shown charging even small co-payments prompts low-income people to forego needed care. In recent years, some states have added charges under $10 for some services. And then immigrants, naturally. However, all right, so I want to, before we move on from that, outlaw which I'm assuming any kind of state medical care. I am assuming. We do have one small, I don't want to say a bright, but it's a small reprieve, let's say. Senate drops anti-trans provisions. Would you believe, motherfucker? All right. would you believe that conservatives were trying to use this spending bill, this omnibus spending bill, to not just drastically expand ICE, which we'll talk about the alligator Alcatraz in a minute, not just drastically cut healthcare you might need, life-saving care for millions of Americans, not just continue letting billionaires fleece you all blind, but that they also really, 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 really wanted to end any Medicaid for trans people. Now here's the thing. In earlier drafts, this is from Rolling Stone, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill included provisions that would have ended Medicaid payments for gender transition procedures for people of all ages, introduced narrowly rigid definitions of sex, female, and male that some experts believe would have far-reaching implications beyond access to healthcare. However, amid a flurry of revisions and amendments, the controversial ban was removed shortly before Republicans voted to pass it. Now, this might be the first good thing that Sarah McBride has really done. It bears repeating that Sarah McBride, who has largely been, I would say, an ineffectual lib, if I'm being honest. Two things. One, it seems like she was one of two people who really, really hammered this home. This is not something that, like, the Dems rallied around. I do not want her advocacy of something that she personally expressed, that she personally knows about, to be mistaken for the DNC giving a fuck about trans people, because largely they don't. And I feel if we did not have one elected trans rep who was personally affected, this very well would have gone into the bill. One-eyed heathen, thank you for $5. Basically, Republicans are saying kill the useless eaters. Yeah. Oh, they certainly are. They certainly are. So this stuff did not make it in the bill. Do not worry about Medicaid covering trans stuff for now. On June 26th, the Senate parliamentarian concluded that the ban of the use of Medicaid funds violated the Byrd Rule, which prohibits the inclusion of extraneous measures in budget reconciliation bills. This meant that the provision needed 60 votes in order to remain in the bill. Rather than prolonging Tuesday's meeting, Senate session by calling for a separate vote, it was removed prior to the roll call on the bill itself. Fortunately, quote, fortunately, Republicans' efforts to make trans people and their health care into political scapegoats failed. Shanae Morano-Kinney, health policy analyst for Advocates for Trans Equality, said in a statement to Rolling Stone, the failure is in no small part thanks to the wisdom of the parliamentarian and the actions of senators who respect and will fight for their trans constituents. Still, there are other aspects of the bill would be detrimental to trans people and Americans in general, including cutting 1 year of federal funding for organizations that provide abortions, like Planned Parenthood, which received more than $800,000 in Medicaid reimbursements last year. Now, Planned Parenthood has long been a stupid boogeyman of the right wing. And I've gotten almost all of my medical and transition care from there. It is, the thing, again, this is the kind of effect that nobody's thinking about, the unspoken shit. The thing most people I know go to Planned Parenthood for, it's not abortions. That is, having known somebody who worked at Planned Parenthood, that's a very small, portion of what they actually do. Abortive care, super tiny, a fraction. What they mostly do is medical checkups, and probably most importantly, STD, STI, and blood screening. Right now, most people can go to Planned Parenthood on relatively short notice, if you have a close call, if you, and again, these are things that do not have to be passed through sex. They traditionally are. But if you get, you know, let's throw a wild scenario out there. You get in a fight at a bar, right? Somebody bites you. It breaks skin. If somebody breaks skin, you get somebody's saliva in your bloodstream. That's bad. That's a bad time. You can go to Planned Parenthood the next day and get a full blood screening and workup and not have to worry about paying out the ass at an ER. If you have a hookup and somebody says, hey, they call you 3 days later, like, you might want to get checked for this. I don't know what happened. Had to wait a week for your last STD test. So it does, here's the thing. That's going to be for a lot of tests, no matter where it is. And it also depends on what the actual test is. Like they do, when I do a full workup and a full screening, because I go into Planned Parenthood probably, it depends on how busy I've been. Busy, not with work, busy with like people. But like, if I have like 3 or 4 partners in a month, I'll go into Planned Parenthood just out of habit, just to make sure everything's okay. And I can usually call and get an appointment in the next week or so. And they give you, so if you do a full blood draw and a full workup, they'll do the basic stuff. There are certain ones that they need, like blood analysis, and they need to basically send your blood off to a lab, have the lab run tests, and then get it back to you. And then some things, they need to, like they can just prick your finger and they'll know for sure. Chaotic Kitten, some things take months to show up on test. That's why you should go and test yourself frequently. Like, do not, I was talking to, when I was in LA, I was talking to Lana B about this, because Lana B is a OnlyFans model. Lana B does a lot of stuff. But there is we were relating to each other of like, it is a miracle that neither of us have ever had anything. Like, statistical miracle that neither of us have ever, like, we've had constant full workups over our careers and have never had anything infection wise or STI wise. Oh. So yeah, that is for example, that is one thing that is completely changed. Nightmarish. Huh. Thoughts on the Satanic Temple opening more clinics? Do they do anything? Or is it like, go watch the video I did on the Satanic Temple. Is it just more empty posturing and giving people shitty advice that's not legally advisable? That's what a lot of their clinics have been before. Like, they do this shit all the time. They do it as a fucking, as like theater, basically. Yep, here we go. Cuts to Medicaid, not just for the approximately 276,000 trans adults enrolled in it, but because it's a major provider of HIV treatment. It's the largest payer for HIV care in the country. It's going to have an impact on LGBTQ people across the board, since LGBTQ people, especially when living with HIV, are disproportionately on Medicaid. Certainly, the community has a higher incidence of poverty than other folks. Jesus Christ. All right. So, I want you to treat this chat because we've had I think it's been fair to say it's been a rough one. It's been rough doing so far. We have a choose your own adventure before you. And you get to choose between the concentration camp we have built in America, or a first-hand account of the conditions at the concentration camp we send people to in El Salvador. What are we feeling? American? Do we want homegrown, or are we exporting the jobs? A woof. April Van Ryn, 42. I don't know what 42 means. Let's do the alligator Alcatraz one, because this is I understand that we're El Salvador, I gotcha. I don't like this game. Yeah. Tristan Lofting, I'm not doing well tonight. Sorry for complaining when I'm a stranger. I mean, you're here. You're not a stranger, obviously. No, it's fine. I wasn't doing good the last couple days. The thing that let me give y'all some help, because I imagine that there are a lot of other people. Not help, but I can only do so much. Speaking from my own experiences. But yesterday I crashed out a little bit because I've been going through kind of a rough breakup with somebody who was in my life for over a year. And anyway, doesn't matter. Not important. But I had a rough day yesterday and the day before. And this kind of news didn't help, but the thing that did help is just getting straight back to zero. Just taking time away from devices, taking time away from news, and honestly, kind of doing nothing. Kind of just chilling the fuck out. And that usually does help me. Fighting Hobbit, I cleaned. I did too. Yesterday I did all my laundry. It wasn't like a crazy amount of laundry, but like that's the little thing that I'm talking about, is that like if you can take a day off and don't like literally do nothing all day, because then you'll be like, don't bed rot. Is that bed rotting is not my advice. Because then that compounds it, right? Then you get into a phase of like, well, I did nothing, but like you turn into a little Eeyore. Do little things that you know will foundationally help you. Like, you don't have to clean your entire apartment. Do what I did. Do your laundry. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I finally got this big pile of clothes I've been putting off for 3 weeks. It was just a regular amount of laundry. Like, I couldn't even fill up my 2 regular loads that I have, because in the like laundry room downstairs in my apartment building, on the first floor. Yeah, no rot maxing. I took a shower. I cleaned. I mostly, honestly, I took care of all my other obligations. I did some business emailing. I did some light writing, but I mostly played Death Stranding yesterday. And talked to people who mean a lot to me. I drank water. I didn't turn to alcohol. I didn't rely on drugs. I just vibed, helped myself to reset. And that's really the best advice I can give to anybody. Yeah, is just to get back to you for a little bit. I think everybody gets very... everybody feels a lot of pressure, like, oh my gosh, what can I do? And it's like, it doesn't matter what you can or can't do if you yourself are not in a good headspace first. Greg Geiger, how are you liking Death Stranding 2? I have not played Death Stranding 2. I've been playing the first one for the first time, and I am enjoying it quite well. So Alligator Alcatraz. Migrant detention center in the Everglades that officials say is poised to start filling its bed in a matter of hours. Kristi Noem and Ron DeSantis. Makeshift facility, which the state put together within days of receiving federal approval last week. Now, excuse me. This is so hard to talk about without Fed posting. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be as cathartic as I can imparting this information to you, but I want you to imagine that every sentence I read of these cretinous bog wretches like Kristi Noem and Ron DeSantis, put a little comma in there for me, and imagine I was editorializing with a description of a saw trap or something what might happen in a film of the Hostel or Terrifier franchises. Somebody was posting earlier and saying something to the effect of like, oh, when Laura Loomer made a joke about putting like 60 or 16 million, or I don't remember the number. Laura Loomer put a tweet out that was basically saying like, oh yeah, we're going to feed, the Latino population of America to alligators, essentially. It was the joke. She was more jokey with it, but that was the punchline. That was the basic gist of it. Yeah, no, I saw Luca M. Thank you for $2. Did you hear about the Alligator Alcatraz merch? I sure did. 65 million. Nintendo'd. 65 million. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because of course there's fucking quote unquote alligator. Of course there's fucking merch. This is the Trump presidency. This dude who doesn't drink wine, who doesn't eat steak, this dude who doesn't play guitar, who doesn't wear sneakers, yet he will sell some knockoff version of all of these things because he knows some fucking rube will make money. Of course he turned a concentration camp made with federal funds, taxpayer money, by the way, into a marketing opportunity. The mind reels at the cruelty that needs to be inflicted as a warning sign for future generations to not repeat this behavior. Like, it is this kind of antisocial behavior. You begin to understand why ancient armies would defile bodies and place them in plain view as warnings, so other people would not follow in the fallen's footsteps. you begin to understand why, especially when you compare histories, why the most successful revolutionary movements left no quarter for their opponents. But America, in not doing that with, say, the Confederacy, allowed all that shit to essentially keep on going and regrow itself. I'm just saying, like, you begin to understand why Lenin killed all those people. Was that Stalin? No, that was Lenin. Now, I want to also talk about, because there are, like all things in this hellscape we live in. Ghost Dunk, thank you for 2 months in a row, 6 total. Like everything in this hellscape we've made for ourselves, there are layers to this, and the first layer I thought of was, this is an 8,000 bed facility that the federal government, for abducting people who are coming here for a better life, who are members of their community, for mothers who are being torn away from their children, from people who have never done any kind of actual crime, who have never actually hurt anybody and have done nothing but contribute to the fabric of America. We are tearing them away, and we can find the time, the resources to make a concentration camp for these people in 8 days in America. From an AI overview, the number of homeless individuals in the U.S. remains a significant concern, with estimates ranging from 650 to potentially over 700,000. Almost 300, or almost 750,000 people homeless right now. And we can't find any resources. But to make people more homeless, to take people from their homes, and Trump wanted to tour it because we cannot let any opportunity for a photo op go to waste. I thought this was so professional, so well done. After touring the center, which features rows of fenced-in bunk beds and a razor wire perimeter, it's really government working together. Site's nickname, coined by Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer, references its proximity to the predators of the marshy Everglades, from pythons to alligators to mosquitoes. Quote, "What'll happen as you bring people here? They ain't going anywhere once they're there unless you want them to go somewhere, because good luck getting to civilization," DeSantis said at an unrelated news conference. So the security is amazing. The airstrip's roughly 11,000-foot runway has been used for training purposes, but officials say it will accommodate deportation flights. DeSantis has already said the state will deputize National Guard judge advocates to serve as immigration judges. Administration wants to more than double its existing number of beds for detaining migrants nationwide to 100,000. The Everglades facility will cost Florida some $450 million, though much of that will be reimbursed by FEMA. While the airstrip is owned by Miami-Dade County, where officials have viewed the plan with skepticism, DeSantis is using his emergency authority to proceed on a tight schedule. Isn't it weird how it seems like everybody just can say, emergency authority, and just get whatever the fuck they want? Conservative podcaster Benny Johnson, on whose show Olthmeyer announced the facility had been greenlit, posted a series of videos. Benny Johnson, all right, chat. When things go even worse, when things go from bad to worse, and they will, there are names that I need people to keep in mind in case when you're in the post-apocalyptic bread lines and one of them comes up to you and you hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, sorry, my name is Benny Johnson," that you can call out and say, "Oh no, he's one of the people that played a role in this, had a smile on his face before it all fell." And then you take horses and turn them into 4 parts like a Kit Kat, like our founding fathers used to do, by the way. It is, drawing and quartering is a proud tradition that I think we should bring back. That is American history. I will, tarring and feathering, I'll drink to that. Yeah, where are the return guys for the good old ways, for the good old things? Florida Republicans are now selling Alcatraz branded t-shirts, trucker hats, and beer koozies. State officials have said they are drafting natural disaster plans. The facility will be evacuated if a tropical cyclone with wind speeds higher than the temporary facility's wind rating is forecasted to impact the air. No, what's going to happen is they're going to put 8,000 people in here. Hurricane season is going to come and 8,000 people are going to die. That's what they want to happen. I do want to see flooding. Apparently, people have been saying, let's go. Floods within day of opening. Chat. We're so back. Sorry I ever doubted you. We're back. Well, Turbo friend, used to be excited to catch a dead domain. Now it's an endurance test to see how long it can last. I do have a slightly more funny. We have a more relaxing, a more chill, selection to end the stream with. All right. Minor flooding within days of its opening. Storm caused about 1.5 inches of rain to fall on the facility. They're tents. It's not even a... They're fucking... It's not a facility. Look at that shit. Dog. It's a... Oh my god. Saruso, thank you for $5. Don't ever give up, because I'll never give up on you. Thank you. It's it's a concentration camp. $3,000 migrants. Cost-effective and innovative ways to deliver on the American people's mandates. Criminal illegal aliens. See, so much crime is going to happen to people in those camps. Oh, yeah, no, the human violation that will happen at these camps cannot go unmentioned and truly cannot be exaggerated, if I'm being honest. I cannot... Let me put it like this. ICE agents already have just next to no actual oversight. Whatever you've seen the IDF doing, ICE agents are doing too. We know from any uniformed agency the abuses in power that will happen, that will continue to happen. And especially when, now I want you to consider for a moment. If you were somebody like some of these ICE agents are, who was looking for somebody to violate, let's say, like many of these ICE agents are, you were a rapist piece of shit, right? Kind of person who should be 10 feet underground. But instead you have a badge and you get to go arrest people. Can you think of a better target, according to them, a more opportune target for a sexual assaulter than somebody who does not fluently speak the language, whose any protestation will be overridden, who is scheduled to leave the country bound for wherever, we don't know, we don't care. They are making it's like very, I don't mean to laugh at it. They are making a pipeline for serial abuse. Like they are creating, just like they have created the perfect pressure cooker for these one-off shooters and psychos with no cogent ideology to just exact some nebulous sense of vengeance on random Americans. They have created the perfect environment for predators to thrive in. And yeah, that's people talking about. It's not even talking about like human trafficking. How do you want to bet in 10, 15 years when all this is shaken out, when the United States isn't the United States it is today? How many investigations do you think we're going to hear about? Like, oh yeah, no, a bunch of kids, a bunch of immigrant kids they just went missing. And nobody's going to find out about it, because guess what? Trump now controls the messaging for any intelligence agency that would likely research it, and nothing is going to reach the mainstream news sources that they can't just call, oh, well, that's fake news. Oh, well, that's something else. I genuinely want the best for people in life. I genuinely want people to grow up, grow old, be happy, live productive lives. And it's already very hard to try to stick to any kind of optimism for that ever happening. And there is nothing I despise people like Trump, Kristi Noem, Benny Johnson, all of these enablers, sycophants, psychopaths, sociopaths. There's nothing I despise them for more than the fact that they have caused me to lose hope. I hate them for the simple fact that they have made me hate another person with such ferocity. I hate that there is a part of myself that now when I see these people's faces, all I can think is that in a just world, they would taste even a fraction of the suffering that they have targeted others for. Other people, they don't know their names, their histories, their lives, their stories, their families, and they don't care. And these people will never have to face even a modicum of the pain, heartache, heartbreak, and literal torture and degradation that they have given to others. And I hate fantasizing about that. I despise the feeling of wanting painful things to happen to others. Aiden the Human Miller. The type of people that make you wish hell was real. I think the unfortunate thing, the truly unfortunate part, is that more people need to get in the mindset of making hell real for people like that. Jan, thank you for $10. Coming in with a question relating, do you think the people of New York electing a self-declared socialist Muslim is a sign of positive change coming our way? So we haven't talked about the Mamdani thing. Well, no, we talked about it a little bit on Monday. Yeah. The Zoran stuff is additionally terrifying. Because, like I want you to think about, again, all of these things, they just create this perfect loop right now of anybody, and this is all what Project, again, I've been saying this shit for over a year. It's been over a year now since I did a video on Project 2025. Mackenzie L, thank you very much for $5. I share your feelings about these people. It's why I'm furious. 3/4 of my family cheer this cruelty on. I feel like I no longer know my own family. This is stuff like this is why I've gone completely no contact with my family. Like I haven't talked to any of them in months. Yesterday was my mom's birthday. I didn't even say anything. And they know why. I've sent them untold news stories of the cruelty. They just don't care. They just think it's an exaggeration. They think it's fake news. But they are no longer my family because of that. I do not have a family. And that's a choice I've made to go no contact, to draw that line. And it sucks. But again, I think these are the things that you have to do. If you truly want to de-incentivize this kind of cruelty, people need to have tangible, actual consequences. My taxes, yeah. Like that's the way it's got to be. That shit hurts. I'm not gonna sit here and like act tough and be like, oh, I don't need them anyway. It's like, I don't have a family right now. I don't have people who reached out to me for my birthday. Like I have friends. I don't have family members. And I am in that age bracket where like a lot of my family are getting older too. It is no longer looking forward to like, oh yeah, grandma and grandpa will be around for 20, 30 years. It is like that shit's on a countdown clock. Chaotic Kitten, thank you very much. My birthday was the beginning of last month, but thank you. Like, and I have to accept that. It's okay. My when I came out and my mom found out I was dating boys, both trans and cis, my mom was like, just don't bring any boys to like Thanksgiving or anything. Just don't tell your grandparents. So like whatever. Who gives a shit? But yeah, the amount of abuse that is going to be perpetrated that people won't know about. Like, people are going to find out about all of the people who were raped, who were murdered, who were molested, who were trafficked. And you can bet your ass the people that do, when we inevitably find out that America has been creating our own little Abu Ghraibs right here on American soil, right, all made with taxpayer money. What the fuck do you think? So I'm working on a piece with, working on a video with friend of the channel. I think everybody's going to be so excited about to see, because it is, most importantly right now, I've been, so understandably, because of, you know, motions to everything we've been talking about, and because the LA documentary kind of flopped, I am betting on that being because it's heavy shit and people want something a little bit lighter. So this next month, I am going to be working on a lot more lighter content. Not saying I won't be covering this. Obviously, I'm still going to be covering this stuff on stream and in stream highlights, but don't expect anything like super horrifying. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit light, while still being informative, of course. But one of the things I am working on is a script that involves Rush Limbaugh, and I don't want to talk too much about it or give it away or anything, but Rush Limbaugh, going through his history, one of the things he said about Abu Ghraib when it came to light is he was like, oh, the Democrats, they want to make it look like this is just some terrible thing, but you gotta understand, the armed services, like, this is just blowing off steam. Like, he literally compared it to blowing off steam. And I'm already bracing for that with this shit. Battle Giraffes, thank you for $4.99. Just wanted to say thanks. I just hit 1 year yesterday and finding your channel was a big help in coming to terms. Aw, thank you, Battle Giraffes. Congratulations. Mir, thank you for $5. To be hopeful, AA is unpopular with many Floridians. Thank God. Protests have included Seminole and Muskogee. Makosiki tribes, leftists, even conservationist conservatives. Yo, conservationists need to be... I don't know how anybody's a conservationist and conservative at this point. Yeah, no, I grew up flying over a trout. I've talked about how I grew up with Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck, and that's been part of what's been such a crazy, like putting this video together, or putting this script together and doing this research, because the two people I'm doing research on for it are Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh. And it's been such a blast from the past, like remembering like, oh my God, I believed so much of this bullshit. Granted, I was a child. I was literally in middle school when I was super into like Glenn Beck. But it's just, no, there are going to be, you're going to see Benny Johnson and Lauren Boebert and these fucking just shit-stained dickheads. Excusing the horrors. Yeah, Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly feel like light work now. So the thing about Glenn Beck is Glenn Beck really set the, and again, not to go too far into the piece I'm working on, because y'all will see this video before the month is out, but Glenn Beck really set the stage for, it's funny because he's not actually that relevant anymore. He bet on the wrong horse in 2016. People forget about this. He was like, Trump is just, there's no decorum, and people need to, like, look, this isn't the America I know. His fucking Norman Rockwell sweater, Mr. Rogers ass fucking bullshit. Sorry, I harbor a lot of animosity towards Glenn Beck for the bullshit. I feel it's personal with me and Glenn. It's, yeah, I think there's a... Glenn Beck is unironically kind of a genius broadcaster. Oh, Glenn Beck is a born entertainer for sure. I think so. The fascinating part about Glenn Beck is both Glenn and Rush Limbaugh basically failed at anything that wasn't being a shock jock dickhead. Like that's just true. And then like he was so against Trump. And that really put him on the outs. And it's been really funny watching him, because now he's a Trump dick writer like everybody else, because he doesn't actually have any actual beliefs. He just realized that because he ruled the fucking people forget he ruled the conservative roost. Like in the mid-aughts, there wasn't a bigger fucking name than Glenn Beck. Like the Rally to Restore Sanity and the 9/12 Project and fucking Tea Party shit. Like he led the Tea Party shit basically. Like Rush paid some lip service to it. So did Hannity. So did fucking O'Reilly and all those assholes. But like Glenn Beck was the guy. And he expanded. In my point of view, one of his big mistakes, he expanded too quickly. He envisioned this kind of, literally, Orson Welles was a massive influence on him, but he wanted this like media broadcasting empire. It's why he founded the Blaze. And it turns out that he just wasn't. He didn't have that juice, much like Jeremy Boring is like all of his other attempts to expand his creative projects, his like stage plays and fiction books and shit were just like, oh no, buddy, you got to sit to what you know, because this other stuff is not it. Jen, thank you for $5. My trans sibling is considering traveling to U.S. in next month. I feel like I need to convince them they shouldn't. Is that reasonable? I mean, it depends on what they're traveling for. Like, the U.S. is not a bad place to be trans, depending on where you go. Like, it is not, for now, you don't have to wear, like, a rainbow-colored or a trans flag on your arm when walking down the street. Nevster Phoenix, thank you, 626, for $5. Not to derail you if you want to move on to another topic, but would you be willing to talk about what you mentioned with Zoran's win and Project 2025? Yeah, so the thing, and I talked about this a little bit on Monday, Zoran ran one of the best campaigns. You're like not only did he kind of had a layup with Cuomo, I'm not like as much influence, and Cuomo certainly has a shit ton of influence. As much influence and money as Cuomo has, he's not liked. Like he had controversies that had come to light well before any kind of campaign. And so like you have this fresh-faced, charismatic, eloquent, like, dude is so fucking likable. Not only is he likable, not only is he handsome, not only does he have a hot wife, like, the dude is just relatable. He's out here doing TikToks where he's talking to people in bodegas and petting the bodega cats. Like, that's Zoran. He looks like... Andrew Cuomo looks like every asshole who's fleecing the citizens of New York every day on Wall Street. Zoran Mamdani, even if you put him in a suit, that looks like a New Yorker. That looks like everybody else in New York. People are like, I don't know, are you brown, are you white, who cares? Like, it is immaterial. Because you're a New Yorker. Charismatic and cares about people. Don't let that skip past you. Is that like you can have, and I think on the left we are so I think on the left we're really acclimated to criticizing all kinds of charisma without realizing that, like, there are people who I don't like Gavin Newsom by any stretch, but that dude does have swag. Like, I think he's a dickhead and a piece of shit and an opportunist. The dude has swag, you know? Like, and transitory, I would say Zoran Mamdani is the opposite of Fetterman. Where Fetterman was, you know, just like, look, there's been a lot of up and down there. Fetterman, the thing that made Fetterman interesting was that he was genuine, but in a non-charismatic way. Like he just looks like any number of dudes working a plumber's union, you know? Gavin Threesome is another American Psycho. Yeah, but he is, you know, he has that camera charisma. And so I think, like, people forget that to the median voter who does not stay locked into politics all the time, that kind of charisma, that ability, and I think what especially excels with Mamdani is that his ability to very quickly reach voters where they're at in New York and anywhere else. His ability and knowledge to just succinctly say, like, hey, here's the problem, here's how we're going to solve it. Here's my plan to solve it. And not have it be like some, you know, highfalutin pie in the sky shit. Because the other side of Mamdani is that they have done so much. They have done so much work, both on the Dems and the Republicans, to try and make him look like this, just crazy communist socialist. But they can't, because when you actually listen, it's like when people forget years and years ago when Bernie went on the Fox News like town hall thing and got the whole fucking Fox News audience on his side. As he's talking about, like, billionaires should not be making this much money if you cannot afford childcare. And everybody's like, yeah, damn, that's true. Because the problems are very simple to solve. They want to make it sound like they aren't. They are. And that, again, I was talking about, somebody wanted to know about the Project 2025 stuff and the Mamdani election, is that there are probably few things right now that the people in Trump's administration, not necessarily Trump himself, fear as much as Mamdani being elected. AOC is one thing, right? Yeah, Buttigieg is another one who goes on Fox News and wins people over. And I have turned a little bit of a corner on Buttigieg. I think he has a lot more gumption and staying power than people initially gave him credit for. I think much like Tim Walz, I think Buttigieg was kind of, for lack of a better term, I think he was groomed by the DNC to be there, like, come look at our little gay boy, we got one of them too. Like I think very much in that his early campaign, but now I think like punished Buttigieg has come out of the corner, so to speak. He has turned into a much more formidable force, I think. And I think the idea that, yeah, he is going in those spaces. He is showing firsthand, putting to shame these ideas that conservatives love, because, yeah, guess what? Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer aren't going to go on Fox News because they can't argue their points. Their points are just mostly the same as elected Republicans, except they just say, like, oh, yes, we support gay people. And I think being able to articulate those things quickly, understandably, is key. And the thing with Mamdani is that New York mayor is such a massive position. It is a position of national import. It truly is. Considering what a major center of commerce, trade, everything, New York. Like there are UN summits in New York. It is one of the, if not the biggest tourist city in like maybe the world. Certainly in the US. If not New York, like I can't, like maybe LA? Like it's fucking up there, right? And so, like, it is... I think... So one thing I think is that I really think some of the Dems are coming around. I saw a... Hakeem Jeffries, of all people, made a post. And this is not to, try and redeem his liberal image or anything, but he made a post defending Mamdani, as Trump calls him a not pedophile, as a communist and all that other shit. And he was, because Trump talked about the trans stuff too, and they always try and tie that in. And I think there might be enough other problems to worry about right now that as the Democrat, like, my hope, if there is any hope for the sitting Democrats right now, it would be to latch on to the genuinely populist front that is presented by Mamdani. Because guess what? The most popular movements in the Democrat Party for the last, 15 years, the ones that have shown time and time again to have the most broad support, been able to appeal the most to people who traditionally might vote Republican, to are traditionally rural, they are all more populist and far more left-leaning. And as people like Jeffries and Schumer and everybody else on Capitol Hill, Pelosi and all of them are constantly going like, fuck, our polling is so down. Nobody wants us. How do we appeal to the kids? Guess what? Here comes fucking Mamdani like a ray of sunshine, and everything says, yo, the kids love this guy. But the kids love us. And I really don't want to make a specific claim or a specific prediction, because I think doing that based on, Hakeem Jeffries saying one thing is, no. But if they were smart, now I'm not saying they are, definitely not saying that, tethering themselves to Mamdani's popularity, and thus the more populist, again, this seems like a political layup. As Trump is failing every single one, we were talking about the BBB earlier. As Trump is failing every single one of his populist promises to his constituents, to the people who voted for him, to his base, as he's going to strip all of them of medical care, as he's going to, take away family and friends, actually having a platform to come and undercut Trump. The DNC Dems are not offering that. You know who are? The people they keep calling commies and socialists. You know who, I was just talking about it, the people who have had the most popular political platforms, the most reach across the aisle, the actual fucking people putting out numbers. Who was it in 2016? It was Bernie. Who was it right after that? AOC. Who is it right now? Mamdani. If people think that, oh my gosh, there's this, there are not sleeper cells of socialists in fucking America. Right? These people who advocate for more leftist policy are not tapping into some George Soros dark network to get their votes. They are resonating with their communities. They are resonating with all the people who are not making enough fucking money to live while continually watching Mark Zuckerberg and whoever the fuck else, I undergo blood transfusions from their kids to stay younger while it doesn't fucking work, and make yachts that fit other yachts inside of them. Can y'all hear the cat screaming? I can't tell if she wants food. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go give cat food. So all of that is to say, are they gonna get behind Mamdani? They should. The scary part is, and another thing I think gives them, gives the Democrats pause to go after Mamdani right now, is the way that Trump, if there is one thing they love more than pushing down the left, it is performatively dunking on Trump when it does not actually require them to do anything. And for example, that's why I'm very resistant to like give brownie points to Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer for this shit. It's like, yeah, Schumer renaming the bill and stuff, like this performative show of like, aha, we have the moral high ground. It's like, great, dude. It's kind of what I talked about with like I talked about useless liberal protest signs. I did a whole thing about it in the documentary in LA of how it's like, it's a Reddit upvote bait for real life, basically. It's shit like that, where they would take, they're going to take the side of Zoran Mamdani as long as Trump is threatening to like denaturalize and deport him. Because they get to sit and go, this is a gross overreach of, this is they're unprecedented. What we're witnessing here is an authoritarian power grab, as they just, they get to call those press conferences, say those things, go up 2 percentage points in the polls, and then not do anything about it. But that is still better than not supporting. I love Chuck's little grandpa smirk because he got the name struck on the bill like he really did something. So like, I can't fucking believe that that was like a thing people were talking. I saw libs on Twitter talking about that today. Like, oh man, these. On one hand, I kind of got to give it to them. I can't believe that, like, I don't think Jeff Tierdrich is still out here, but Brooklyn Dad still out here in the fucking trenches being like, Donald Trump owned, like, every day. You gotta, it's charming in a way. It really is. It's just like, you lovable scamp. You really, alas. Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Can y'all hear that? That's Lady tapping her tail hitting the... Yeah, it's Lady's tail hitting the wall. Are you happy? Are you happy, dog? Can they please support Mamdani at least self-preservation level? If they can arrest him, they can arrest any Dem for any reason. Yeah. So that's the horrifying precedent being set here, right? Like, that is the truly terrifying part. And I say that without any real jokes and without any real humor, because it is the point at which I think every paranoid lib, every paranoid leftist for the last decade have been building towards this narrative that has for a long time been, oh, you're overreacting, oh, it'll never happen. But we are at the point now where the worst case scenario is just a couple of scenarios down the line. Like, it's we have had so many. Guess what? Eventually, when you get past so many unprecedented events, the precedent gets set. The precedent has been set now for overreach, seizure of power, Trump consolidating ICE as basically his personal Gestapo at this point. And if not ICE, watch the fucking doc I did in LA. The National Guard, the Marines, diverting them from anywhere else to serve as his personal foot soldiers. And all of his people are in the bag for it. Like, they all fucking agree with that. It's the idea of them, you know, it's no longer just floating shit. There are real chances that they're going to try this before Mamdani gets elected. And in that event, that's going to be some real Dark Night of the Soul shit for America. Like, that's going to be some real fucking... That's going to be a breaking point. Okay. If I have to make a prediction, here's what I think we're going to see. I think first we're going to see an acceleration of lone shooters and lone acts of violence, like we've kind of already been seeing, that don't have any ideologically coherent basis. And I think eventually we are going to get to those same situations, but with ideology that is starting to hedge more and more to one side or the other. And from there, I think it won't be long until you have open targeting of people. Yeah. Hey, Ivan Alvarez Barba. First time live. Thank you. Saludos desde Mexico. Mexico. So, again, I understand it's been a pretty bleak night here. I'm going to end it with something that will be a little bit lighter. I promise. It's going to be a little bit more fun. But I really want... Yeah, early Cold War Italy. Like, yeah, communist versus fascist shit. Targeting of who plays say clear to your friendly Fed agent. The House is still stalled on the BBB, down on this amendment by -5 votes. Let's fucking go. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We talked about him a couple months ago when I talked about the death camps down in El Salvador that Stephen Miller is so just jizzing his pants over. If you want to know, if you want an idea of what, in addition to the abuse, the trafficking, the molestation that will inevitably happen with ICE agents, if you want an idea of the cruelty that will happen inside the walls of not just the Everglades facility, but all the other ones that are inevitably being built right now, let this be a guide to you. When I talk about our own little Abu Ghraib here in America, I'm not fucking joking. Offering a chilling account of the mistreatment in Salvadoran prison, claiming he suffered severe beating, sleep deprivation, malnutrition, and other forms of torture. Abrego's account of physical and psychological torture stand in stark contrast to the portrayal by the Trump admin and Bukele, who posted a photo of what he claimed was Abrego having margaritas. The Van Hollen has said the margaritas were staged by Salvadoran officials. Abrego said he lost 31 pounds in CCOT in his first 2 weeks. How... that's just not eating. That's just no fucking food. Holy shit. 31 pounds in 2 weeks? Media's sympathetic narrative about this criminal illegal gang member has completely fallen apart. That's a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security. Jesus Christ. Man. He allegedly entered the U.S. illegally around 2011. Deportation violated a 2019 order from an immigration judge who barred the U.S. from sending Abrego to El Salvador because he faced a danger of gang violence there. Described being the first person off an airplane in El Salvador after the Trump admin flew him with more than 200 men. He recalled bright lights illuminating the airfield, cameras trained on him while officials forcibly guided him, shackled and chained to a bus. Officials repeatedly struck him in the head. Forced to strip, issued clothing, subjected to physical abuse, including being kicked in the legs with boots and struck on his head and arms to make him change clothes faster. His head was shaved with a zero razor. He was frog marched to cell 15, being struck with wooden batons along the way. Shared a cell with 20 other people who were forced to kneel overnight, with guards striking anyone who fell from exhaustion. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, Heavy Benjamin, we talked about that with Laura Loomer. Lawyers also described psychological torture, saying Abrego would be moved to cells with gang members. He indicated he witnessed violence among inmates in those cells, with prison guards declining to intervene. They were denied bathroom access and soiled themselves. Metal bunks, no mattresses, overcrowded cell, no windows, bright lights that remained on 24 hours a day, and minimal access to sanitation. Thoughts on the Diddy trial? No, I don't really like I'm not saying I don't care, but it seems like, just from what I've heard, dude is not paying what he needs to pay. No ability to contact his family or consult a lawyer. First contact with the outside world occurred when Van Hollen visited him on April 17th. Undercut the Trump administration. Rebutting alleged gang ties. Prison officials with extensive experience dealing with MS-13 examined his tattoos and saw nothing to signify gang membership. Salvadoran authorities recognized he was not affiliated with any gang. Justice Department failed to produce evidence to support its allegation that, they have to admit it legally. For now. Fuck, man. Lied to him by indicating he'd see a judge before he'd be deported. Those false. Like, again, how are we supposed to fucking believe Ron DeSantis when Ron DeSantis is out here saying, like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna divert resources from the National Guard to serve as judges. So we're gonna have this whole pipeline where people can get processed, and they'll get deportation orders, and it'll all be legal and above board. When we already know ICE is saying that shit, but it's not happening. Like, fucking sell me a bridge, dude. God damn. All right, so you know what? Let me see if I can. I had this come across my screen earlier, and I thought it was quite powerful. And I wanted to share it with y'all. If y'all haven't seen the Chaplin film, The Great Dictator, I believe Charlie Chaplin was Romani or had Romani heritage, and was incredibly vocal against Hitler and fascism. And so I want to share this with all of you, because when I watched it earlier, I thought it was it's comforting, if only to know that the things you are feeling, the cruelty we are dealing with, the hate or the anger that you feel is not new, and humanity has weathered as much before, and we have survived together. I always find it interesting when you see just a succinct reflection of everything we deal with now from over 100 years ago, or from about 100 years ago. Because I think a lot of people look at everything going on, and certainly the way that we hear the news, there are new perils. But they are, in so many ways, humans can only come up with so many ways to torment one another. We can rely on new tools and new machines and new systems, certainly, but when you get right down to it, it's not that different from the way that power has always been wielded. It was one of the things that I really learned when doing my essay on the history of anti-Semitism, is that, you've always had these assholes. You've always had, like, back to the Middle Ages, you always had one person who is like, it was these people that are slightly different than us. They're actually the ones who are bad, but you should give me all of your money. Like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. And now I want to end on a slightly more, because again, we got started a little bit late. We've covered a lot, and let me tell you, it's been a rough one. Apparently, there is a story of a non-binary hairstylist on TikTok who is being accused of practicing dark magic witchcraft. Oh, Alex, hi. Lexi, hi. I'm all masked today. I'm all like very, I don't know. It always feels weird when I'm like slightly more masculine, because I feel like depending on the angle, my dog, if y'all can hear all of that, my dog is trying to rub up against my leg because she wants me to pet her. What do you have trapped yourself under my desk. I'm not going to move. You move. Yeah, that's right. Go the other way, dummy. Boy modding. Yeah, I'm boy modding. Do people actually view Wiccans as a threat? Dale Wilson, we have watched enough conservatives freak out about demons and witches. You know they do. You know there are absolutely people who believe demons and witches are real. All right.
A voodoo curse put on you. I recorded this video so many times a year ago, and I had drafts that I don't have anymore, but I never posted it because I was genuinely terrified because of the just stupid crazy shit that happened, that I was like, if I talk about it, will they come after me? I don't know, but I'm gonna talk about it now because it's been a year and I just remembered that the drafts are gone, and I want people to know, but I won't say where it is unless you guys tell me that I should. But my parents told me at the time that like they could sue me for defamation if I say what happened. So Please advise me. So what happened is I've only ever had my hair cut by my mom in my kitchen, and I wanted to get a real haircut because my mom hasn't been a practicing cosmetologist.
Are we just binging Twitter? No, Draxus. Well, the good stuff. It's been a long, hard day, Draxus. It's been a rough one. So we're chilling out with something a little bit lighter, hopefully. Something that'll be just like a little funny ha to laugh at, black magic stuff. Because we've talked about the horrors, just the awful, the worst shit in the world. And it's been a long one because of it. Even though we've only been live for about 2.5 hours, I feel it in my bones. Also, it's later than usual. The gays are turning the freaking gays gay!
And so my friend sent me this business TikTok, and was like, here's an all-inclusive place that seems really friendly and cool for a first haircut. And I was like, awesome, this place looks great.
Sorry, I keep pausing because people keep acting. Did the Duck Dynasty thing come up? No, because I want at least an hour to go through that because I don't know how good the sermon will be. And if it is good, I want to be able to like fully watch it, and some of those sermons can take like a long time.
And they're very well known on TikTok and made fun of for certain thing that they do about their all-inclusiveness. Okay,
so this is not the NB hairdresser. This is, I guess, a Christian girl who went to the NB hairdresser. Fighting Hobbit. This is how I know there's nothing at Area 51 because Trump wouldn't be able. Oh yeah, like I think about that shit all the time. I'm like, you think outside of the Epstein shit, where with Kash Patel just sitting there with the fucking. Like, why does Kash Patel always look like that? Why is Kash Patel just going in interviews like... Why? Does he think it made him look like hard to have a fucking... Like, a picture of... Like, his state picture is him going... What the fuck are you doing, dude? Freaking me out. Stop it, you're scaring me.
They cater specifically to the queer community, and I went, and it was great. Like my first appointment was great. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is really cool. This is really cool. And then I get home and I look at it because when the haircut was finished, they just had me pay and leave. I didn't really get a chance to put my fingers through it and see if it was right. And there were some things that were wrong about it. And so I messaged them and I was like, hey, can we get a touch up? And they were like, sure. And I go in and they spend the entire time being like, I actually did this right. Like you're wrong, but we'll alter it for you, which was just fine, I guess. But when I went back, the normal eclectic stuff that they had before, like all the picture frames and stuff up on the wall was still there, but they had added some Halloween decorations. And when I asked them, hey, did you decorate for Halloween 5 months early? Because it was almost like a year ago today. It was like June 10th, July 10th, I think. And they were like, no.
Okay, I'm going to go to my front door and I'm going to show you all really quick what, I'm not going to move the camera at all, but I'm going to show you all, I'm going to bring back my, oh, Wanker Tanker, you didn't know about the Pokemon panic? Oh, you weren't alive in the late 90s, early 2000s then. Y'all. No, the Pokemon moral panic was that was real shit. That was real hours. Like, you don't... Kids these days don't know. Oh, kids these days don't know what it was like out here on these mean pallet town streets. No, that shit... Pokemon teaching kids evolution was serious business. Serious business. Jinx Kate. I have never heard the one about Kadabra being an evil Jewish agent. That's crazy. That you're okay. You're pulling my leg on that one. Okay. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna show y'all what is right now the sign I have on the front door of my house. have had this hanging up for at least, without fail, come rain, sleet, snow, this has been hanging on my front door for at least 5 years now. And this is so people know. They walk up to my door. This is the first thing they see of my living abode. So they know what I'm about. They know what is up. I know what I'm about. This is to say, Halloween solidarity to whoever is mad about this.
That's all we talked about it. But when I walked in the room, there was a giant sign that says, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter." And there was a ring of salt around my chair, and there was salt in front of the mirror in front of me, and on the countertop in front of me, and there was
Girl, that's because he saw how pasty you were. He's just trying. I guess they. Sorry, I'm assuming they. What pronouns did she use? She used male, I think.
And they were like, no.
Oh, they use they. I guess I don't know what gender they are. I'm assuming they. They're just trying to put some seasoning on you. Like he just... Come on.
That's all we talked
No,
about.
this person, so this is the person complaining about the non-binary, who I don't know who this is, by the way. Apparently they have a TikTok. I do not know.
But when I walked in the room, there was a giant sign that says, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter." And there was a ring of salt around my chair, and there was salt in front of the mirror in front of me, and on the countertop in front of me, and there was a mirror behind me that had a giant pentagram covering the
Based? Awesome.
entirety of it. There was a pentagram on the floor in front of me, 3 pentagrams in the corner of the mirror in front of me, and next to that line of salt on the countertop was some candles and voodoo doll looking things. There's also a skeleton. I think the skeleton may have been there during the first appointment.
I don't know why, but actually I think the skeleton was there. The skeleton, that was totally fine. That for some reason, that's the obviously like fake Halloween skeleton was the one that I'm like, that's really good.
I think that might have just been part of their decor, but it ties in. So I really don't know. But the vibe when I walked into the fix appointment was just hate. It was just hate, and I felt so uncomfortable. And then halfway through the appointment, they left to go to the bathroom. Now, in the first appointment, they left to go to the bathroom as soon as I got there, which I thought was odd that they hadn't gone already. But I don't care. You do your thing. But the second appointment.
Okay, so hairdressers also can have and I say this as somebody who now gets my hair professionally done. Since I 2 years ago now chopped it all off and regrew it from scratch because I bleached at home. All right, I don't know who needs to hear this. If you are just coming out, if you are just starting transitioning, if you are just starting to take care of yourself for the first time, if you are some form of gender divergent, 2 things. 1, stop bleaching your hair yourself. Pay good money to get it done. 2, get rid of the first dresses you bought because they don't look as good as you think they did. They serve their purpose. Move on. The thing I've always noticed though with because I love my hairdresser, like she's a little spendy, so I usually have to like save up and be like, okay, I'm putting this aside. You can't say that. I absolutely can. As somebody who just threw out the cheap ass dresses, we have disposable income. I'm not talking about going and buying full. What do you? All right, people saying like, oh, people think I have disposable income. Nah. What do you think? I buy clothes new? Nar. When people are like, oh my gosh, I love your fur coat, my fur coat, blah blah blah. I spent $15 on that at a thrift store. It has a hole in the middle of it. Like, if you're not buying stuff thrifted, you're doing it wrong. You got to be hitting those Value Village deal days. That's where you get the good shit. But I'm speaking, again, from experience. Half the stuff you end up getting, it doesn't work the way you wanted it to. Or it doesn't fit the way you wanted it to. The thing that not to go on a, Alexander the Cannibal, I'm not going to advocate Temu. I refuse to advocate Temu. No, what I'm saying is, because I would do the same thing where when I first started, like, especially if you, I think there's such a wider, like if you're going female to male, in terms of your fashion, like you are a trans man, I think the options for shopping are a lot more simple, just as exciting, but a lot more simple to understand. Because you got, mostly if you want to be passing dude, it's pants, it's shirts. I think the gulf to understanding what works for your body is so much higher for trans women, most of the time, because trans women don't have a lot of guidance on that. And I think there are a lot of, Temu and Shein are awful clothing, made by servants. Yeah, they are made, a lot of them are made by fucking sweatshops. It is, everything's unisex if you stop being such a fucking baby about it. And you can, Swamp Frog person, you can DIY the hell out of some clothes. Like, absolutely DIY the hell. My fun thing to do is that I've kind of stopped getting rid of, well, I'll get rid of t-shirts, but like, instead of just being like, oh, this is too masculine on me, or, oh, I don't really like the way this fits my shoulders or anything, I turn that shit into a tank top. Cut out the neckline and make sure you kind of know where you want your midriff to be, because like that's another thing. Hey, let me tell y'all, if y'all want to be making your own tank tops, don't do it too high up. Leave yourself plenty of room, because it's way higher on you than it's gonna look when you're actually cutting it. But no, like when you first go and you start looking through like women's clothing sections, like there's so many. Like, whether it's fast fashion fads, whether it's just weird pieces of design and like sportswear stuff, there's so many things that are usually like very very exciting when you first come across them. I think dresses can fall into that too, but you don't really know. And again, because a lot of trans femmes I certainly don't have a lot of guidance on like, hey, what fits your body best? What is the best way to accentuate the shapes you want to give it? And this is why you see a lot of people bitching about the like Amazon basics, like spinny skirt, thigh high stuff, which I kind of get. Like I never went through that Amazon basics, like the phase, I guess, that a lot of people did. But I know why people did it. I did the same thing, just with different clothes. I'm jealous they don't make oversized hoodies for men. They do. They're just bigger hoodies. Dale Wilson, they do make oversized hoodies for men. They're just bigger hoodies. You just got to get a bigger hoodie. What are you doing? Ivan Alvarez, I came out as non-binary but still dressed the same old ugly shit, mostly because dysphoria and anxiety, so no one knows and everybody sees me as a man, and that makes dysphoria worse. Yeah, you got to mix that shit up. You got to mix that shit up. I'm in my fishnets era. See, fishnets are fun. Fishnets are great because fishnets are diverse. Yeah, Lil B, the Amazon basic skirt is a meme, but it does hold the basic lesson of accentuating the hips and waist. So the thing is, accentuating the hips and waist is like, again, you need to learn. That's another thing you've got to learn, is where your hips are versus where your waist is at, because too many people don't put it at the hips and they put it on the waist. Or is, yeah. I know I can't wear crop tops, way too much stomach still. Who cares? Who gives a shit? It's summertime. It's hot out. Nobody gives a fuck. Hey, I don't care how much tummy you have. If you look hot, if a crop top is hot, you look hot in a crop top. Who gives a shit? Peter Fanley, thank you for following. Yeah, fishnets go crazy, honestly. Yeah, baby trans girls wearing their skirt low, exactly. Like, I won't buy a skirt if if a skirt sits too low on me. I just bought, so I went to, and again, somebody's gonna be calling me bougie, but wait. I've kind of been doing a wardrobe refresh because I didn't realize how long it's been since I actually bought any new clothes, and it's getting to a point where like a lot of my t-shirts and stuff are getting like, oh, this is kind of, so I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff. I'm converting some stuff to crop tops. And one of the things is, so I was downtown with a partner the other day, and Urban Outfitters was having a 40% off on top of a sale price thing. And I was like, I mean, it can't hurt to look. And I ended up spending about $40 on 6 pieces of good Urban Outfitters clothing. Like, I got a new skirt, I got new pants, I got 3 new tops that all fit fucking perfectly. And I was getting some of those. Like, I got a pair of new shorts they're super weird, but they're very cute. For like $6. Like, better than Value Village prices. And that's the thing, is that like, just don't buy new. Like, you don't have to settle for bad clothing, even in thrift stores. It does. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't take effort. You got to be willing, and that's another thing. That like, another thing to keep in mind when you are trying on clothes is that there are clothes that are going to look good and clothes that are going to look bad. It is not you that looks bad. It is the clothes that don't work for you, not the other way around. You want clothes to work for you. You are not fitting into the designer of clothing's like style. Other way around. You are making the clothes fit your style. And I think a lot of people, that can cause a lot of dysphoria, and that can cause a lot of like, oh, I try on a dress and this looks terrible on me, and that causes, everybody's been there where it's like, oh fuck, why am I even bothering? This is a bad idea. I shouldn't have come thrifting, blah blah blah. But you know what? It's because you didn't try on those other 2 dresses. It's because you didn't just push it a little bit further to find the one that actually fit for you. And that's what you need to focus on when you are going thrifting and stuff. Yeah, and also, like, another thing, again, cis men are not really conditioned to know anything about the differences between brands and sizing because it's incredibly uniform. For women's sizes, this is not the case. This is not the case. It is a nightmare hellscape of just completely different styles and sizings. Yeah. Anyway, somebody asked if I'm usually femme. Yeah, I'm usually femme presenting. At least on here I am. Why do I not? I want to go. We love Savvy. Yay. Why can't I just look at my fucking Instagram? I want to look at my fucking Instagram. What the fuck? There we go. Yeah, I'm usually more femme presenting. Like, here's a good example. These are all pretty good examples. I really like this red and blue makeup look I did. But yeah, I'm slightly more masculine today because I've had a day. I'm very tired. I'm in my like almost I'm half in my workout gear. But yeah. I love that look. That was one of my favorites. The new name is Vesper. And then I do cosplay in both like mask and femme characters. And so like here's my Cloud cosplay, and then I think I have my Rogue. Oh, there's my Spider-Gwen. Here's my Morgan. Oh, there's my Morgan. And oh, there's my Double Trouble one. And these are all comedy. Oh, there's Rogue. Finally, Jesus. Hi, Z. I wouldn't do the Spirit because of whitewashing, and I wouldn't do the Huntress because Autumn Ivy has already done the Huntress, and like I can't. I straight up can't. I ask Autumn for cosplay tips and making stuff. I'm trying to do I need to redo Rogue because I have a new wig and suit that looks so much better. So much better. But what was I saying? A Silent Hill Nurse. I've thought about Jean Grey. Yeah, here's my Cloud Strife. Have people have seen, y'all have seen my Cloud. Cloud from Final Fantasy. Yeah, that's what if you ever look in the background, that's where my sword is from, is I bought that for the Cloud cosplay. Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy. And then my Angel Dust from Has-Been, and then this one I recently did, which is just like a fun little Garden of Eden photo shoot I did with a friend of mine that my muscles were muscling that day. I really liked my makeup there too. Anyway. I know. I need to finish posting. I never finished posting the Angel Dust. I went through and edited a shit ton of pictures from the Angel Dust set. And I never finished posting them to the OnlyFans. So there's a bunch of them that are like not on there yet, but I need to put them on there. Like I took this one, and this one even has little fat nuggets and everything. Yeah, I'm 5'11". I'm almost 6 feet. Sorry. Anyway, let's get back to this. Because somebody was asking like if I, yeah, I can say it's technically it is male presenting nipple because I was cosplaying like a mask character. So loophole. What was I saying? I forgot. Oh, yeah, because somebody was asking me if I usually present femme. Because I was talking about, I think whoever was watching and asked that didn't know that I usually present femme, because they were like, oh, you can't be saying that, dead domain baby.
It was 10 minutes long. So I don't know why they had to leave halfway through, except for the fact that when they left, the music switched from being like pop music or elevator music to the kind of music you would hear in a haunted house where it's like...
Hey, yo! Maple Takes, thank you so much for raiding with a party of 168 right after I get done. Oh, now I gotta go back and do the whole Instagram segment again. I was here showing off my cosplays and stuff. I also do OnlyFans. Damn. Advertising. See, I got capitalism. Thank you so much. Despairing Hair Alex, By the Sword, Goober Bombs, Chuck Dies, Maple Takes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We were talking, are Vespers a type of cloud? I don't believe so. Oh yeah, here are my red, I completely forgot about my red carpet pics from last year too. People, wanted to, we were just talking about, I forgot what we were talking about. We were having a wind down segment, and then people got me distracted, and then I was showing off my cosplay and stuff. So that's why we're here right now. Thank you very much, Mr. Gribble Pibble and Giselle Chu. Have a good rest of your night, or thank you for hanging out here. Yeah, it took, so I'm actually, because I have a friend of mine who has a, you can see my arms are getting bigger again, because I've been working them out more, and you can see that especially. So this was last year, and I worked my arms a lot to get the definition for cloud. And as you can see here, my arms they're getting a little bit bigger again, because I've been trying to work towards a couple other slightly more muscular cosplays. I'm doing a gender-swapped Black Cat and a gender-swapped Rouge the Bat right now that I've been working on for a little bit. What was the other one? There's another one. I don't remember. Thank you. Yeah, the wig on this thing was a real bastard to mold, but it came out really well. I was really happy with it. How late to the stream am I? Wait, hang on. I watched Ballerina and loved it. I'm bummed Grifters are using it and stuff. Why are they using Ballerina? I haven't seen it. I want to watch it. The Spider-Man character? Yeah, so there's a friend of mine who has I would show it on stream, but I don't think they have let me see if I can find it really quick, and I can just tell people to go look up Felix Black Cat. Yeah, so if you look up Fidi Vidal, Fitividal, there is some NSFW stuff, but in their media tab they will have some of the Felix Black Cat that I'm doing, and so it's like a gender swapped twink version, and I really want to do the Rouge cosplay in a local art gallery. I'm fingers crossed I'll be able to do that. Woman action heroes are gay to right wingers now, and it barely made its budget back, so that's why they're doing. I mean, like, I'm not surprised it's barely made its budget back, because I barely heard about it coming out. So Fitividal, if you look up Fidi Vidal on Insta, or on actually maybe on Insta. Hey, yeah, there are. So yeah, this is the Black Cat I'll be doing a cosplay of for future reference. But yeah, anyway, we were just watching. How did I choose the name Vesper? I don't know. I've just heard it. It is one of the only. It's one of the only names I've been thinking about changing my name for like going on a decade now, and it's the only one that has ever really felt like good to me. And I think actually changing it has been very affirming in that. It's like, yeah, this feels right. This feels good. Somebody's saying, wait, Fiddy, I love his art, just not just the NSFW stuff. Let me clarify. I don't care. I am a proud patron of Fiddy's Patreon, which includes the NSFW stuff. But I love their work so much, and I've wanted to do. I'm actually very soon. I'm having a sewing and crafting session for the cosplays because, y'all, as popular as Rouge the Bat is, it is goddamn impossible to find that fucking heart like chest plate without making it. Which I've got some EVA foam, and I was okay. The reason this all came about was because we were talking. Somebody brought up the Huntress. I talked about Autumn Ivy. The reason this all came about is because Autumn Ivy is the person I contacted for like cosplay help. Because I was like, oh, this is like the person who knows this shit. But apparently this lady was how does one even describe the mania that we're witnessing here? She had a hairdresser that had pentagrams and Halloween decorations, and so she is kind of freaking out about it. Autumn's pronouns, I'm pretty sure she, they. Pretty sure she, they. It might be... actually, you know what? I think they changed it to they, them. Oh, it doesn't say on their profile. Bummer. But yeah, go follow Autumn Ivy. Autumn's fucking rad too.
Language.
Okay, wait. I missed that part.
Left, the music switched from being like pop music or elevator music to the kind of music you would hear in a haunted house where it's like whisper chanting in a different language. Yeah, and then it went back to normal as soon as they came back in the room. And they were cutting my hair really quickly the whole time.
Did they? Did they play a joke on her? Is that the bottom line? Is that what happened here? Were they playing an elaborate prank on their customer? Because I think that the idea that the music changed when they left and then changed back when they got back, considering this is also apparently, I don't know this person, but apparently they're also like kind of a TikTok star. That sounds like, look, as somebody who loves a good prank, a good jest, a good jape, if you will, that sounds a little bit like and that's what I think.
And so quickly they snagged the scissors on my hair for a second and like pulled my hair really hard. And then when they finished, they literally go, all right, you're done, you gotta go, I've got a client coming, and like walk me out the door and close it behind me. And I essentially immediately start bawling, and I call my friend and I'm like, what the fuck? And I call my dad and I'm like, I'm coming home, like I'm sorry it's taking so long, but I need to have a breakdown first.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know a lot of people have, and I have a lot of sympathy, and I have a lot of understanding. I have a lot of friends who deal with social anxiety, who deal with BPD, who deal with mood swings, and it comes in various flavors, right? And I generally try to live by the idea, nothing worth, thank you very much for following. I generally try and go by the idea of, giving people whatever space they need, just trying to be as respectful to everybody as possible, because you never know what kind of day somebody else is having, what they're going through and stuff. That being said, if somebody did this to me and the first reaction was to like have a, as she said, breakdown, for why? For why? For why? For why do that? Like, nothing you've said is breakdown worthy. Unless just like the idea of pentagrams and spooky voices are meant to be enough to like, unless this is like kind of like a Christian dog whistle type thing where it's like, oh, you understand, I was in the belly of the beast, I was just mortally terrified. Okay.
And it's weird because I didn't think that they weren't threatening me with like scissors or something like that, but they are holding scissors next to my face, and there's all this threatening stuff around and the threatening music. And I just felt very uncomfortable and unsafe the entire time that I was there for that second appointment.
There's literally nothing that's do you know what? Okay. Here's the thing. you can tell sometimes when somebody has not faced shit, right? When they might be a little bit insulated, they might be a little bit, again, everybody's circumstances are different. You're all God's children. I love you all. But when somebody says that some pentagrams are threatening, that not been outside her bubble. I'm like, that is... She feels as if she was cursed by a goth / potentially pagan hairdresser. And there's really no, like, evidence to that. Everything she's saying sounds like it was a fucking prank. Like, continue. Sorry.
And I wanted to post a review somewhere about it and be like, hey, this place is not chill. But my parents told me that they could sue me for defamation. So I have not said anything about it, because if they are gonna put a voodoo hex on me or something, who's gonna stop them from doing normal crazy stuff?
What?
And I don't really believe in like hexes or anything like that. But that's not the point though. That's not the point. The point is that their intention is bad, and that scares me. So if you guys want to know where it was, or if you have any guesses on where it was, let me know. But yeah. Also, if you want to see the haircut, the haircut is not like the end of the world, but it was not at all what I was going for. And I was more crying because I was freaked the fuck out than that the haircut was terrible, which it was bad. It was very uneven and very... Anyway, let me know what you think.
Well, that wasn't as usual. It's never as crazy as I hope. Like, you want the crazy shit to be... I want it fucking... It's one of the things I love, put in big quotes. It's one of the things I enjoy, again, put it in quotes, about, like, the, like, hate church sermons that we watch on rare occasion, is that some of them go so hard into being dumb as shit. I don't admire it, but I do find it entertaining. And that was not quite what I was hoping for. But that's fine. We are gonna... Oh, hello. Everybody, we're getting a visit from Lady. Lady wants to lick my hand, apparently. Hey, why are you licking my hand? Hey, you cannot have that. That's not for you. That's not for you. No, stop it. Stop it. Look at this animal right now. Look. She says, no, lower your arm. Move it down here. Why? Why are you like this? Hey, why are you like this? Her little tail's just going. Why are you like this, huh? Oh, yeah, you don't like it when I talk back to you, do you? Oh, I just put a lotion on. That's why. You weird little dummy. Vicious beast. Yes. Vicious beast. I'm not sweaty. Oh, if I look shiny, I'm not sweaty. It's just the lights. Like, I'm moisturized, but I'm not sweaty. Like, it's actually really chill in here. Yeah, Lady does think it's bedtime. No more pooter. All right, we are going to go. Y'all are going to have a great time on this stream. We got... Damn, there are a lot of people streaming tonight. Why is Peden off? Oh, I don't follow. No! Okay, let me see if I can raid Peden. Because I don't think it'll let me otherwise. Yay, I will. All right, we're going to go raid Peden. Eden. Go say hi from me. Go like, follow, subscribe. Thank you all for putting up with me and joining us on this hectic night full of so many things to talk about. I hope you all take the time you need. Take the time to relax, enjoy, get your heads right, and continue caring about each other.